All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of FortuneBuilders.tv. It's been a long day, actually. It's been a long week and an even longer month, but all good stuff. And I almost left the office today without filming this week's show, and I was gonna what's the word I wanted to use? I was gonna sort of bail on the goals that I set out for FBTV this year, but Dave hung in there. Thank you, my friend. And we're here. And today we're going to talk about, I've started a couple of series. I've started the sales series videos that we did, and I shifted gears last week a little bit. I'm going to come back to that. But what I decided to do is take us in a direction on the rehab topic again. Specifically, a question I get asked, probably more so than any other, is like, how do you get good at designing? You know, if I'm not good at it, or if I haven't been good at it, I don't think I'm good at it, how do I get good at designing a house? You know, and sometimes our students will ask, you know, will you come design my next project for me? And, you know, my answer is no, I won't. I'll teach you how to do it, and I'm going to teach you some of those same things here. And what I'm going to focus on is just some things that I remembered actually today, because I walked through a house and I was reminded again of some of the things that helped me become better at designing and looking at what Paul and I call spatial optimization, which is just maximizing every square inch of a house and understanding really in today's market, what are people looking for? And that changes. There's some things that change and there's some things that don't change in terms of what buyers want. So I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some big tips that helped me when I started out, and I'm going to teach you some of those. First and foremost, there's no substitute for just walking through houses. But let me back up from that for a second and tell you some people and some resources that can help you kind of get your eyes and your mind wrapped around the things that are important. Well, first and foremost, if we're talking about team players, we're talking about like interior designers, we're talking about architects, people like that who are in the business of designing space for a living. And, you know, hiring them maybe on an hourly basis on your next project to help. And you can accomplish a lot by doing that. Not only are they going to help you design your next renovation, but if you go there and you ask questions and you are like a bird on their shoulder just absorbing knowledge, you're going to become better at not only what they see, but the terminology and sort of looking 5, 6, 7 steps down the road when you're designing a place. So those are some key team members and team players. Other resources, and this is interesting, is magazines. You know, it makes like, well, that makes sense. That makes common sense, JD. Well, it does, but how many times have you just picked up a magazine and flipped through it and, you know, gotten ideas? Well, some of you maybe it's a lot. Some of you maybe it hasn't been that often. But what's interesting about like a high-end design magazine is you can take very interesting architectural design ideas and you can implement them in your rehabs at a lower quality, at a lower cost. By using materials that are less expensive. So what I've done over the years, and I always do, is I look at a magazine a month sometimes, sometimes more, and I do it to see what other designers are doing, and I sort of use creative theft. And I take their ideas and I adapt them to a similar idea that's affordable for our project. So that's a big thing, and you know, I love looking at other people's designs and getting ideas from them. And so I encourage you to do that. The other thing is, when you're renovating a house, if you've done your job right, you should have pulled comparables to determine first if that house is worth buying, right? What's it going to be worth when you renovate it? Well, the interesting thing is the comparables, it's not only telling you what the house can and should be worth, it can also tell you and give you different design ideas. There could be some homes in those comparables that were renovated, maybe even not renovated, but they maybe will give you some different design ideas of what people have done over the years to improve their homes, and even maybe what the same builder did in that particular area, but they just made a couple of changes in that home that they built that you could adapt to your house that you're renovating. So walking through other homes, looking at comparables, and then practicing. You know, it's like there's no substitute for practicing. It's very easy to say, well, I'm not good at design, so I'm not gonna get any better. Well, that's just cutting yourself short. I mean, practice. Go through homes. Walk through other houses. Spend your weekends going to open houses, right? I mean, I do that every weekend. Well, I shouldn't say every weekend. When I'm in town and I'm driving around looking at houses, I'll pop in other open houses and get ideas. So all those things help and all those things matter, and those are some of the things when I started out that made a big leap forward to get me better at design ideas. Now there are more advanced things that I'll touch upon as we go down this road of rehab design, but I wanted to kind of start out at a baseline and give to give you some ideas that you can work on. And by practicing those things and continuing to educate yourself, that just means you're gonna become better at what you're studying. So take those ideas, and if you've used some of them, take them a step further. If you haven't, then get started with some of those baseline ideas, and then we'll take this conversation a little bit further. What I want to get into next is our deal or no deal section.
Deal or no deal?
So, deal or no deal is, I'm just going to be pretty straightforward. Education or no education, right? Continuing to educate in something that you already do, or saying, you know what, I've got enough of what I need, so I'm just going to ride that plane. Well, I hope by now you understand that consistent education is important. And if you know anything about Fortune Builders, you know that we believe in consistent education professionally and personally. And so I share that idea because as a person in this business who's renovated hundreds of homes now, I push and continue to push myself and continue to look at other design ideas and go to high-end or extremely high-end renovations and look at these different things that other people have done. And I don't get challenged by, or don't get, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't get, Dave, what's the word I'm looking for? When someone else is really good at something that you're good at too.
Inspired.
And, well, what's the opposite of that if you take that negatively?
Discouraged.
Get discouraged. Like when someone else is really good at something that you're also good at, and sometimes when I guess you could get discouraged, one, or you could also get frustrated, or you could also get kind of that bravado, like, well, I can do it better than them, and then you miss out on an opportunity to learn, right? So I share that because if you're in the space of someone else that's doing what it is that you do, and they're also good at it, you can learn from that. So don't take that the wrong way, and don't miss out on those learning opportunities. And I've learned that firsthand. Our last section is, of course, our quote of the week.
Quote of the week.
So our quote of the week, since we've been talking in that last section about education, is about education. And I'm going to read this one to you. Actually, I'm going to read two to you because I like them both. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Aristotle. Okay, good one. Another one by Aristotle I'll read to you. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. One more time. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. Hope you like this week's show. Do yourself and do us a favor, and do all the viewers a favor. Below this show, comment. Comment on things that have helped you become better at your craft in the business of renovation or any other business. What some ideas that this show may have sparked for you. As always, we encourage those comments. So share your ideas, and also share this show with other people, your friends, right? Learn from it, share it. And hopefully it'll inspire other people. Share on your social media channels as well. That's about all I got this week. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you enjoyed this first month's worth of shows at FortuneBuilders.tv. Dave and I have a lot more cool stuff coming at you the rest of the year. See you soon.